Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I want to tell you what we are doing this time. You probably know because you already saw the thumbnail and clicked on it, but I still don't know, so let me explain. We will be making a Keaton, or at least this is how I think it is pronounced. It's kind of this thing. Please, my editor, input a picture of a Keaton, thank you. From the Legend of Zelda game series. It will be quite a big plush. We will not only use minky but also use fox fur in this beautiful red color. This time I did go for quite a short fur. Let's see what this will look like. He will be this size. Okay, let me introduce you to the size of the plush that we will be making this time. The pose will be very similar. I have a few changes that I like to make to the pattern, but basically I did this plush as a preparation for the commission that I'm doing now. Not so much will be changed. Actually, the size will be pretty similar. Of course, we will have a fluffy fox fur tail and basically a lot of fluff around the head, and I can't wait to start. I have a few ideas how to go for that, but I still have to test some things, so let's get to drawing. So now that we just cut out the test heads and what I think they should look like, I will just go ahead and pin them, sew them together, stuff them, and then show you what we've got. Okay, since I don't really know how much footage I lost, because I didn't notice that the camera shut off, once again, I guess, these are the two prototype heads that we made based on our shape sketches that we decided on. I decided. I'm kind of not sure if I want to go for like a more realistic face nose thingy, for something that is more like the game design one with this really short and pointy nose, or for something in between. I have not made a prototype for that. I just want to see what this two will do, and then we see where it goes from there. This is kind of the game design, so as you can see, this head is a lot closer, this design, to the one that is in game. I could maybe make the nose a little bit more pointy, and I could make the slope not that hard here, but then again it is a problem where at some point the form doesn't change the way you want anymore. Also, I'm not sure how this will scale up. This is this kind of head I never done before. This is this pattern that I drew is kind of, I freehanded it, so I'm not sure how this will look. Then again, something like this kind of heads I have done quite a lot, where you have a bottom gusset and a top gusset, but this isn't exactly what this is. I was given quite the freedom with this. Let's just paint on some faces on these prototypes and see how they look, or with the look we are going for, because I do think I would like the smile to be on the plushie. We are making a Keaton. I mean, what's Keaton without this smile? Let's try that. it certainly gave him some kind of character. I'm also happy I'm recording this because I can go back in the footage and see what they looked like before without the brows. I hope I'm recording. Because I don't want him to look like he's asleep. He just has this kind of glare. So for the paws for this plushie, I wanted to try something new. I can show you with the Vaporeon. These are the paws and I think they are pretty damn cute. But for this plush I wanted to try out, I already made the embroidery and I can show you guys this kind of paws. I don't know if you can actually see, but these are like 3D paws, so you can actually feel the paw. This is just sewn on and then stuffed from the back. The problem with this is that you have to use some really stretchy material for the paws, so you can really stuff it and it will get this cute 3D effect. Otherwise, well, you just can stuff it. The pocket is too small and it won't expand. I know that some people on Twitter, for example, I saw them use something called Mochi Minky, but I have not gotten my hands on that yet. I think it could be similar to what I have here, but this is actually something that was sold as baby pajama. What was it? Pajama baby fabric soft pajama fabric soft. I have no idea, but basically something like that. Well, basically I took it because it also has like hair similar to Minky, but the real difference is the hair is really short. I could have used some other material, but I thought this one would look good. Or the important thing is this is really stretchy. I mean, this thing stretches like crazy. Minky doesn't do that much. So of course at this stage in the project we have a slight change of plans, because why plan ahead when you can like make changes that are way easier to make before now? I hate myself sometimes for doing these things, but I actually found something out. Let's just see. As you can see in this reference picture of the thingy, he has actually like white paws. Here at the bottom they are not, it's not like the whole leg is this yellowish thingy color. So now I'm thinking about changing my paws back at the plushie that is laying over there and still being made to something like yeah, this here. So let's just go and grab back our paper pattern, because yes, we do have a paper pattern for that, and it's the last pattern. So oh yes, here it is. As you can see, this is how I do store my patterns, and actually this is a foot. So now I just need to figure out how much of white I want. I need to put it on here and on all the other feet that I have. So these are like 4 pattern pieces in total. See you guys back in a minute. Okay, so like I explained just moments ago, I have a new idea for the pattern. Basically I want to do these socks for him. I think this will look cute, but let's see. It could be that I already had this idea before, because now I'm looking at the pattern and I see those markings, and they would kind of be where I want this sock to end. So what did I do? Why did I already put them there? I have no idea. So let's just see if this is really what I think it is. Oh, basically it could be a little less, but yeah, I can live with that. So let's take 1 foot. This is on my pattern pieces. These are old math exams from my studies. I really hate wasting paper, so when there is like one side is blank and there's something just on one side, I always save those pieces. I also think I could use some darts in those paws because they are pretty thick, so it will not look very nice. Yeah, I'm committed to the idea, so just let's get it over with. I think I will not go for white because these feet are like a little bit dirty. It's not really white, it's more like this cream color. I would give a lot to have some daylight and here right now because these colors are very similar. With the math exam on the back side, so I can fit that nicely. This is the back inside. Okay, so now we have to go back to our original pattern pieces and mark the color changes, and also the same as we did here, just mark a sewing allowance. Wait, wrong side. Think what you were doing, think what you were doing. So where's my other back leg? I know I have another one. We also have to be pretty fast with all of this because our nice magic marker here disappears pretty fast, and the seam allowance on this side. This thing disappears really fast, so let's, here we have our 2 back legs. Back, this is the back inside. Back inside and the back inside matching the pattern pieces. So this is for that, this is for that, and now that's why I actually draw in my seam allowance, because I tend to forget that I need it. So if you draw it in, you don't have to fear that you forget it. Also, all the pattern pieces already have the seam allowance in them. I kind of use this 1/2 centimeter seam allowance, and I noticed that when I draw my pattern pieces without the seam allowance and then just cut like freehand to add some seam allowance, if it's not the same width everywhere, they do not match up and I have problems. So at some moment I just switched to making pattern pieces, patterns with seam allowance already in them. Okay, this one and this one, and now to the sewing machine. I will sew this 2 feet because I'm a little bit worried how this will turn out. I wouldn't just to see for now on these two pieces before I cut them all up and in the end up, well, wanting them all in one color again. So let's just go with that for now. See you in a moment. Oh, hello there and welcome to the view on my sewing machine. Meep. Do. Okay, so I'm back. Here are the feet with the socks on now. I do think the color is matching nicely, so I did go ahead and, well, write down on the socks to which feet they belong, because why I didn't do it earlier. Why I didn't do it earlier, I don't know. But okay, so we have that. This is the front out sock. If I end up not liking this color combination of the lighter sock on the outside but the yellowish on the inside, I will redo the bottom also. But for now I'm not sure that would actually look good. I still like to go with this color, especially when I'm gonna go and thread sculpt this part to look like this. I think it will look better when the bottom is orange. Also, I am lazy, so let's go. Okay, I am back with all the colorful feet socks attached. I actually really like how that looks. I'm already excited for the final outcome, but for now I need to... yeah, what do I do now? I actually decided that I will go with this head first. But I want to make the body, then scale up the head, do a mock-up but in the right size, because I will probably get the size wrong on the first try, and then do a final head. I think one prototype in this final size will be enough. I also want to try out my embroidery. I also want to try out merge some pieces here at the mouth. Let's see how that will turn out, because I would like to do the mouth with applique, because I don't want to do such a big embroidery. But I can't use Minky for that, because you don't have teeth made of Minky. That would look just stupid. So while I pin this all together, let's think about that. Okay, so I am back for some more pinning. Okay, now that we have the main body kind of sewn together, we are still missing the front part, but let's just go turn this the right side out and look what we've got and see if we need any adjustments to this form. I kind of tweaked it a little bit from the last time. I'm mainly interested in how the paws will look once stuffed. So let's enjoy a little time lapse of me stuffing this thing. So this is what we're looking at right now. I really like how you can see the paw pads on the bottom. The shape of the paw is okay. It will change when we go in and do some thread sculpting. It will actually get the thread sculpting will get rid of this bump that we have here. And all in all, I think this is going somewhere. So now let's go for the front paws. So the initial markings are still visible, so let's redraw them. That's the initial hole, and this is, I did cut out more at the bottom of the paw because I wanted it to be closer to the main body, and I think what I cut out is something like this. Yeah, should be right. Okay, so let's just mark the middle. I do not remember if this hole marking has the sewing allowance already in it or not, so I rather cut the hole smaller and then if it's too small make it larger, because it does not work the other way around. I still need to go over this part that for some reason isn't sewn together, and I need to do something about that. Wait, no, that's not right what I'm doing. I need it like that, so I need it like that, so I need it, yep. I really think I need another coffee. Coffee break. Now I have my coffee. Now I can go back to work. So here you can basically see that I have not figured out this pattern. I kind of have an idea what I'm doing. Okay, we've got the first paw in. So let's take this whole thing, turn it right side out. That looks like nothing for now. It needs some stuffing. Okay, that isn't half bad. I mean, I'm not really happy with the you know, that's the. Now for a short explanation what I did, because I think I didn't do a good job explaining it before. So basically the front paws had this shape that we didn't like. So what I decided to do is to just sew this like this, just to get rid of the bump that we have in front, and to make sure that I do this the same on both of the feet, because, well, basically they are the same, so we want this to be the same. I actually got back to my pattern pieces, draw in where how much I want to get rid of, kinda, and cut this off. So now I have this as a pattern just to see where I should sew. I hope this is explanation enough. If not, I tried my best. I've done all that I said before that I was going to do, and I don't remember what that was, but I think I have everything now. I just checked the seams and they seem to be all right everywhere. So now I just need to trim this down a little bit, especially on the feet, because it looks like my pieces weren't exactly fit. Not this. My pieces weren't exactly fitting, but that's okay. That's okay. I still managed. I turned it already right side out to make sure that it also is attached good, that it looks good. So now just a little bit of seam allowance trimming, and we'll be good to the most exciting part. Just kidding. It's not the most exciting part. It's the part where I always put on some music or a podcast or anything, because we are going to stuff the body. Normally, that's a lie. I could not stuff the body, make the head first and machine sew the head on the body, but this would actually require me to have a head, and I don't have one. I also would like to make the head fitting to the body. It's not like I have a reference picture that is ready, that I know, okay, this is the size of the head that I want. I kind of still not sure about that. So we will turn this right side out, we will stuff it, and then basically by looking at it for long enough, we will decide how big we want the head. In the meantime, we will also cut open this head. Finally, I need to scan in the pieces, and I'll show you a little bit of that too. So see you in a moment. We are now at the stage where we are patterning the tail. I think this will be fairly easy. We will make it out of like 4 pieces, but actually we're gonna merge them together. Something like this. For the tail tip, we'll use 1/8 of a sphere pattern. So we will actually need like 4 of that next to each other. Also, I was looking at the reference pictures. The tip is black, but then we have like a little bit of white, so we're gonna cut, this is actually 6 centimeters, so to have like a strip that is 24 centimeters wide of white. I have a few fur types ready. I wasn't going to use those, I was gonna use the shorter one, but now I am not sure. We will just see how that all looks once it's all put together. I'm already back. I haven't cut out any fur so far because I just cut out the piece that I wanted to be the tip of the tail, and I'm like, oh man, that's so small. The whole tail I wanted to be 50 centimeters long. So just for some reference. That's 50 centimeters and that would be the tip of the tail. I mean, nope, not a chance. So I actually gonna make this bigger, longer, but not really wider, because the fur will add a lot of volume to the tail. I'm really gonna cut this time. I just thought that since we are now talking about cutting fur, I just show you how it's done. And this will be of course closed. So it's kind of fluffy. I think it is the right size. I really like it. Since I have 24 here, and I kinda, wait, what did I say? 12 and 6. That makes 18. So I still need about 32 to get to 50 in total. And I would like to cut it like this. But maybe round, because otherwise it will not fit. Or will it? No, it won't. Important thing. I marked the direction of the fur, yet I cut the wrong way. So after we got this situation under control, well, I mean, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I now cut it out the right way, so with the fur facing outwards of the tail, having my first tail. Mathematically, it's not exactly the shape that I wanted, but it's close enough. And now I have to trim a little bit because I kind of cut it out a little bit around. So let's just go again. The longer I am looking at this, the more confused I am getting. If I like it or not. Because on the one hand, I do like it a lot. And on the other, I don't. A lot. So I am pretty confused right now. And that calls for one thing. I'm just gonna stop for today and go home. Foxes do have fluffier tails, don't they? I really need to rethink my life choices. You know, because at this moment I really do think that the tail needs to be fluffier. I like this one, but it's not really a fox tail. But then again, I will have 3 of those, so the look will be a little bit different. The biggest problem that I have is that it's really difficult to get fur right now. And I can't get this color of fur in the longer version because it doesn't exist. I could go with this, but that's not so vibrant. I do not like it very much. Yeah, I'm just gonna go home, sleep over this, because on the one end, I really like how this looks. It's not this gigantic thing because I need to make 3 of those. And it's just has the look that I want to go for, that it had in the original N64 game. There wasn't this really big fluffy thing, but then again, it is a fox-like creature. Yeah, but with 3 tails. Ah, okay. I'm gonna go home, think about this a little bit more, and yeah, and think about all my life choices in general. I can as well cut this thing open. I would love the head to be on one piece, or all the embroidery be on one piece of the head, but I am not sure if this will be the way that I want it to. So maybe I will make a little dart on the top too, but I don't think this will be necessary, although with the bigger size. So this is how I want to join the 2 pieces and want to make the embroidery in one big piece. I don't know if that will fit in my hoop, but probieren geht über studieren, as the Germans say. Okay, so this is the tail that we made. And the fur is too short. I mean, it's too short. I can look at it how much I want, but I still think for this project it's too short. So I decided to try if I still have fur like this. There is a problem because of COVID-19. I cannot buy fur where I usually bought it, so I have to work with what I have left. I bought this one especially for this project, and now it's not fitting. I'm very disappointed, but what shall I do? Also, I want to change the shape of the tail a little bit. I do think that this will look better like this, but I also would like the tail to be a little bit more pointy at the end. I feel that would be more fox-like. Also, I want to make this white stripe a little bit thinner. Also, maybe I do have white fur with this long hair, so I think I will change to that. So what I did for now is I cut out the basic piece from this long fur, and notice I did it in the right direction. Yay! Now I'm gonna go and change this shape to something that is a little bit more like this, so that the tip will become slimmer a lot faster. Also, I will cut this 24 by, I did the stripe 24 by 6, so let's do it now with 24 by 4 centimeters for the white stripe. And maybe since I'm taking away from this white stripe, I'm gonna add to this black. Yeah, I'll be back with the new tail. So the thing we're going to do now is we're gonna check how this tail turned out. We have this one, we made this one. Also, I still haven't scanned in the face. Need to do that too. But let's for now see how we do with the tail. Okay, I like the shape of the tail more. I changed it a little bit. I can show you that on the pattern piece actually, because I left out this part. So the tail now looks like this. So you don't have this. Okay, I don't know really how to explain it, but you don't have it like getting wider, 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 and then at the end just rounding up. If I would have left it the same, the difference wouldn't be that much with this long fur, but still I think that it starting to get thinner faster just looks better for this foxtail. And now I can like compare these two. Don't lose the pattern pieces. You can actually see how this one would look and how this one looks. So I think it's a no-brainer for me that I will do 3 like this. I just hope, because I haven't tested it yet, this is the last that I have of that fur. But I do think that I will fit 2 more tails on that. I will also be left with some rather large pieces that I can use then to add around the collar of the plushie and maybe some fluff on the ears. But that is still a little bit far away, so for now let's concentrate on the tails, make 3 of those. So now that we have scanned in our head pieces, I just drew over on a new layer and printed out like the, well, blown up sketch. I haven't cut out all of the pieces because they should be symmetrical, but I know they are not, because this is everything is more or less up to this point, and now I need to really get down and get it precisely how I need it. So let's see. Oh yeah, the middle part is in the wrong position. I also will not make any embroidery right now because this is still a test piece. Also, this head will be too small still, but again, I just I painted on 2 different faces that I would like to try out on this, and I will transfer those markings onto the fabric before I sew it together to see if this is actually something that I want to do. And like I said, it's just making my pattern symmetrical. Also, with this paper pattern, I will probably use it to change all the things that I still need to change. That means that now the next step will be that I will scan in this paper pattern that I made and put all the changes on it. Now it's symmetrical. Let's go for the head gusset. This is the version of the head that has this really pointy nose. So we don't have a bottom gusset underneath the nose. But still it needs to be symmetrical, otherwise the head will just look, well, it will not look. That's the basic problem. Okay. Of course, all of this you can do on the computer, but I am a paper person and will always be. I'm not that good with computer programs, so I really enjoy doing this like this and doing it by hand. I feel that I have all the control. But really, if you can use simple programs like, for example, GIMP, just go ahead and do it on the computer. It will save you a lot of time. But like they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I'm an old dog, so paper it is for me. Now let's go choose our fabric. Again, I think I have a lot of green, so this test head will be green. Again, I will transfer all the markings and then see what this head actually looks like in a size like that. Now that we sewn this prototype together, let's turn it right side out. But before we do that, we need to cut the seam allowance, otherwise it will not turn nicely. Also be very careful, because you saw me doing some things that you should never ever do on a plushie that is not a prototype. For example, you saw me drawing out the pieces with just normal ball pen. Don't do that to your plushies, because if that comes in contact with water, it's possible that it will bleed to the right side of the fabric. So if someone, even if he doesn't wash the plushie, like wash it, but if he just gets it wet, it could bleed through. Also, some people like to wash their plushies from time to time. They do that, so especially for that reason, don't use normal ball pen to draw anything on your plushies. Well, you can do whatever you want. I wouldn't recommend it. That's how it is. Also, the second thing is I used Sharpie to kind of transfer the eyes and the markings. Don't ever do that on your normal plushies, because before, well, it kind of never dries. This isn't like real fabric. I mean, real. It is real, but it's not like cotton or anything like that, so it won't absorb the color. The color kind of stays on these fibers and it will smudge. Even after a few hours or even after a few days, you still can get smudges from using Sharpie marker on your minky fabric. That's why you probably should not do that either. But again, maybe for some applications it's good. I don't know, I haven't found them. I only use it as a fast way to put on my markings on prototypes, because with this fabric marker that I have, this is very nice, but it kind of runs out very fast, and also it disappears after, it should disappear after 24 hours, but it basically disappears like after 2 or 3 hours. There is a neat trick to bring it back if it disappears too fast. You just apply heat to it, like low heat iron or anything. If you apply heat to the places where the marker was, it will reappear for some time, so you can probably save yourself with that. It helped me quite a lot of times when I thought, I just need this temporary marking, but then actually I came back the next day and of course it was gone. Okay, let's just cut away some of the some of the seam allowance. Also check if all the seams are closed. Not that it's that important right now, but well, if they are not closed, I want to close them before I turn the thing, because I have to turn it back, and I'm going on and on about something that probably isn't that interesting. So, oh, I cut too much of the dart. Now the dart, yep, the dart will open. Especially on sharp corners, you need to cut the seam allowance because otherwise it will not turn like the little pointy nose. And okay, with the flat state of things, I am pretty happy. I see the mouth is a little bit, could be a little bit higher up, but then again after stuffing, the whole thing can change again. I should have put the tails away because now there's a lot of colorful fluff on them, but I just have to brush them out later. So as you can see, I used Sharpie on the fabric, and it's just getting all over the place because I'm touching the fabric. Yeah, take that as far away from the plush as you can. I really hope I won't be too distracted by the fact that I have two different colors on this head. I normally try to do the prototype in whatever color, but in one color, because putting different colors changes a little bit the look of the plushie. But I didn't have a piece that was long enough in the blue color, so I had to go with that. We probably will need some dart adjustment because the head is getting bigger and we want it to retain a nice shape. I kinda want this head to look something in between a human and a fox head, just to capture this creepy mask salesman aura. Okay, this looking from this side, it looks kind of creepy. I'm happy with that. Let's see where this is going, because also depending on how we stuff the plush, it will look different. So I want the head to be a little bit wider, so now I'm gonna start stuffing it this way. It's really getting difficult because I know what kind of look I want. This is kind of going in the direction that I want, but it's not exactly 100% what I want. And now that I made this prototype from a dark fabric, I can barely see my own markings. That wasn't a very smart move. And again, I feel the nose is not the right, although we have one more option for the nose, and it's instead of making it shorter, we could just go and after sewing everything, we can do a little bit of thread sculpting. The question will be if that is enough and if I can get if I can get changes in the way that I really want them in the end. Let's stuff a little bit more. The head is something that I always stuff quite good because I don't want my head to change shape while people cuddle with the plush. That's why I tend to stuff my heads quite good. This flattened look that I'm trying to achieve by pressing down, I think maybe it would be a good idea to just cut the head up here and change this into a front side and a back side. I think you know what I mean. Here where I have the darts, I would just cut it along the dart line, the line created by the upper and the bottom dart. This way I would really have this front part that is like a mask, and I could go around, go and play a little bit with the back side to make it less round and a little more wider. At the same time, the front will get wider if I make the backside wider. So, and again, this is something that I tend to do. I don't know why, but it's always on the right side that my heads are less round than on the left side. And this is with each and every head, I have to correct that. I try to keep that in mind, but this is just something that I do because on the head, when I close the head, I always go in one direction. Although there shouldn't be a problem this time because the head is not closed along. Yeah, the back looks just cool with this color pattern, but that's not what we're talking about. I could try and change the pattern a little bit to make those darts on the bottom wider to get it to be more flat, but I don't really think he will need this. At this point, my prototypes normally do not look that good. I'm also looking at which face I like more. This one is more gentle. I know I drew it like that, so that's why it is this way, but I have this side more gentle and this side a little bit more aggressive. Also, you have to imagine it not on a dark color, but on a light color. So I don't know if there's much point in me talking about this a lot. And again, about the, I was thinking that I would like the mouth to be a little bit more up, but this will kind of destroy this. Or maybe I just listen, this is really difficult because small changes, for example the gusset, if I make the gusset smaller in here, I will get a pointier nose, and maybe I just don't want to move that smile. I just want the nose to be more pointy. I was talking about the shape of the head and about that I like it to be cut out a little more like that. If cutting the pattern a little bit different won't do the trick. There is still a little thread sculpting we can do. This will also bring the nose a little closer, so I don't want to cut it now on the piece because I think that I really want this pointy nose, yes. I already wanted to cut this up and go and create the embroidery file, but then I noticed that I haven't decided what about the size of the head, and this is still a problem. First of all, I will have to go and wash my hands because my hands are full of Sharpie, and then we will see how this size fits the plush and what else we need to do. So we need to make a little room and be back in a moment. So we went from that one to this thing, to then making this into a head and cutting it up, to then resizing the whole thing, scanning it in, resizing it, printing it out, taping it together and making another prototype. So for me, from this stage, it has been already like 7 days. This is not the only project I'm working on, and sometimes I need to take a break from a project just to get a perspective on it, but basically that are the stages. So this all we have done, and of course this is still not the finished head, but we're getting there. Let's see what about the size. Okay, yeah, this is it's way too small as expected, but now the question is how much bigger do we go to not make it too big, obviously. I think I am done for the day. It's getting late again, but I'm really happy. I'm really happy with this prototype head, and I can see where this is going. I already have a plan for the fur collar, and of course we have still the thread sculpting to do with the paws. I'm so excited to get on with this. So there's even no need to cut up this head, because it turned out that scaling up the pattern did what I wanted it to do. The only thing I will change is I will make the gusset here a little bit slimmer, because this gap is getting too big for my liking. But again, this is not a problem, because if in the end it's too wide, I can just open the seams and sew it in again. I mean, I am excited. Okay. After I transferred all the markings back to my paper pattern and scanned it in, I had to design the embroidery for the face of the plush. So I want to say a few things about it, because the whole embroidery did not fit into my biggest frame, which is 18 times 30 centimeters. So I had to break it up into 2 separate embroideries, but still do it on one piece of fabric. This is kind of a problem when you don't have a really great embroidery machine. I have only a brother in novice. It's quite a nice machine, but it's not a professional embroidery machine. So the problem with this is you can't really find the point, the exact point where you should start. So you basically kind of eyeball it, because you have to take out the embroidery, move the fabric around, and then put it in the hoop again, but with a position that will suit the second embroidery that you need to make. This is a really tedious process, and I was so grateful that it turned out great on the first try, because a lot of times when you make the second part of the embroidery and then take the whole thing out of the hoop, it's not really straight and you have to redo the whole thing again. So making this kind of big embroidery is possible if you have small hoops. Even with smaller hoops you could do that. But then you probably had to divide this kind of embroidery into eye, mouth and second eye, and lining those 3 up would be really difficult. That's why always when you design embroideries like that, put additional markings on your embroidery to help you position the fabric in the frame when you hoop it the second time for the second embroidery. Let me tell you a story about some ears. Those were initially going to be more like Pikachu ears. That's at least what I had in mind, but then when I made the paper mock-up, I decided that wouldn't look really good. So in the end, fluffy ears it was. When it comes to the look of the ears and the position, until the very end I wasn't sure how it would turn out and how it would look. I was just doing the ears, and keeping in mind that if I'm not satisfied with them at the end, I would just redo them. When I don't really have an idea how to do something, that's the best approach for me. And I'm thinking like, oh, I don't have an idea, but I need one to start. No, you don't really need an idea to start, you just start doing something. In this case, triangular ears. I was, okay, I can cut those. And then I had the idea to include some fluff, and I really did go overhead with the fluff, but I love those fluffy ears. I also used something that I don't use very often, that's hot glue, because hot glue works really good with fur. If you have pieces on your plush that are fur made, hot glue is sometimes even better than sewing. The whole fur is sitting differently when you hot glue it on with some hot glue dabs, then when you sew it on, you can't most of the time feel the hot glue. Well, on the ears, if you really squeeze them, you can actually feel a little bit of the hot glue, but still sewing the fur onto the ears would not give this super fluff effect that you can get with a few dabs of hot glue. It's not easy. It's really dangerous, because if you mess up, the whole thing is messed up. You can get hot glue out of fabric. At least I haven't found a way other than just cut it out. But I think the effect is really worth the danger. Yay! That was a time jump. I jumped here from the past. So after having my fair share of troubles and indecisiveness with this project, I'm finally at the stage where I think I'm nearing the end. So I showed you how I made the ears. This is the current state, as you have seen on the video. I'm not sure if I will leave them, but that aside, I also redid the head. I started redoing it one more time. I wanted the embroidery to be smaller, but in the end, I just reshaped it. And I think it's really cute. I spent a lot of time on thread sculpting the nose. It's so soft and it's so cute. I mean, I'm so proud of that nose. I could die right now and I would feel fulfilled because I made the nose cute as that. I'm still not done with the thread sculpting the body. We still have the hind legs to go. Also, I'm thinking about adding some little, not fingernails, but you know, the nails that can scratch you, that cats have too. And now it's time to assemble him. And I think that's what I'm going to do now, and then I will have a look if I want to make him more fluffy around the neck. How exactly I will position the ears and how big they will be, I still don't know, because I could go for some smaller, longer, different positions. It's all in the stars right now, and also this is the wrong ear, it's this one. Let's just see where the assembling will lead us to. Because, as always, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I have absolutely no plan for this. Let's go! This is definitely one of the biggest plush projects that I ever made, not just size-wise but also time-wise. I never thought that it would take me so much time, but I'm really happy also with the accessoires, the golden necklace that the mask salesman has, and of course the Majora's mask that I made. I was thinking about making it out of something else. Somewhere in the video you also saw a 3D printed Keaton mask, because now I know that it's not Keaton, it's Keaton. Yeah, better late than never. So I was thinking to 3D print this mask, but in the end I decided it's a plushie, so I go for a plush mask. It's one of the hardest embroidery files and embroideries that I ever made. Helmut was pretty furious with me for this one. It has more than one layer of different minky fabrics, so it's getting pretty thick while you do the embroidery. I also used this 3D foam that you can see in the video. This causes some parts of the mask to be 3D and it gives the whole mask more depth. Inside the mask is a piece of felt. It's one of these thicker felt pieces that you normally use, for example, to make handbags. This helps the mask keep the form. I put in a lot of details, as many as I thought it could bear. To make the embroidery took Helmut, I think, 4 hours with my constant supervision. What do you think about this mask? I'm curious, let me know in the comments. Yeah, so he's too big. We have to go out to take some photos, but the weather is... you will see in a moment. Yay, you made it till the end of the video! A big shout out to the people over on Patreon, because this is all thanks to you. Also a big thank you for all the nice comments on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and everywhere where you guys follow me. Sharing my art really means a lot to me, and seeing your reactions to it and seeing that you like it is just the best thing ever. Thank you so much. I hope this was interesting. I hope you learned something. I hope you are now motivated to try things even if you don't know what you really want, because it's just about trying and seeing where it goes. I hope you try something this week. I would love to see what this inspired you to do. If it inspired you to do anything. Maybe it inspired you to stay in bed the whole week. That's not so good. I'm talking too much. See you in the next video. Bye!